Hey everyone, welcome to the Sound Test Podcast. This is your host Bryan here, and I'm joined by DeYante. Um, okay, Clayton.
Sorry,
Dying over there.
I had to sneeze. It's like something's in my nose, and it's
You
still
like try to
cold.
drink your
What
juice
I told you about
through
that
your
booger sugar.
nose.
I'm gonna snort sugar like pixie sticks. Side note, did you ever see anybody in middle school just like snort pixie sticks or like sugar packets?
You stay away from
Kool-Aid
those children.
packets.
You stay away from them
Kool-Aid.
children because they're going to become criminals when they grow up.
Yeah, they actively were
Yeah.
losing. They were
Those are the
losing
ones you
brain
stay
cells
away
by the
from.
boatloads,
They
bro. They
are
were losing brain cells by the
dangerous.
boatloads.
Dangerous.
Whenever you say booger sugar, that's what I think about. So I was like, those were the weird kids.
And Max, joined by Max here.
And with the refreshing taste of Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Oh,
Have it in cans now?
yeah, they brought it back where you could just buy it outside of Taco Bell.
Oh my! I gotta go to the store. Wait, damn it, it's all this damn snow.
Trust me, braving the snow ain't worth it for a Baja Blast.
I'm not.
I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I only have like 2 obligations tomorrow.
Go outside for a Baja Blast.
Oh ho ho ho.
So this is part 2 of our 2023 in review. We're looking at all the media that was kind of released in 2023. Part 1, we looked at music, TV shows and anime, and movies from 2023. So catch the last episode on the podcast on that to hear our thoughts on those things. This episode is going to be exclusively on gaming. We're going to take a little bit of time to focus on all of the biggest gaming news from 2023. Kind of just a rapid fire pace, just everything that was significant. And then somebody's background is like really loud. Max, I think that's your background. That's like really loud.
The background's loud.
Yeah, it's like a TV on. And then
Baby, do you mind turning on the TV just a little bit?
After that, we'll talk about our games that we played in 2023. So this is not a top list. So this is just games released in 2023 that we played, had experiences with, and we'll also throw in like any seasons. So if there's like a particular season of like a constantly online game like Apex or Halo that you want to talk about, or Overwatch that you want to talk about, that happened in 2023, we'll talk about that as well. So yeah, let's get down to these news. First one I have on my list: the 3DS and Wii U online services shut down.
Yeah, that's the end of an era.
That hurt my heart, bro. That hurt my heart.
So
I can't recall the Wii U really having too many good games.
Well, there's a lot of stuff on the Wii U eShop that's just gone forever. Like, one cool thing about the Wii U eShop, their virtual counselor thing had a bunch of DS games on there. And it's like, just with the form factor of the Switch, you can't really replicate a 3DS unless you like completely remake the game. So like, all of those games are just kind of just gone. You can't just get them anymore unless you emulate or get the physical cartridge.
For the people who are just listening to this audio podcast, D just made love to his 3DS. Like, he just made love.
This is the first game I ever spent over 300 hours on a small device.
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
I made a decision when I first got my 3DS like years ago to have that as an exclusive digital only device, and boy, that was a terrible decision. All of my 3DS purchases are digital, so if
all of them disappeared.
If my DS just like spontaneously combust, that's it. I just don't have those games anymore.
Damn, bro.
You gotta
Damn.
protect that thing like your life.
Yeah, kind of sucks.
Yeah. Like when the 3DS was like still around, I still mainly played like DS, like regular DS games. Like obviously I played Pokemon Moon and stuff like that, but I still played Phoenix Wright, the original Phoenix Wright trilogy. Like I have it in my car, my 3DS, and I bring it in to charge sometimes, so I can like play during my breaks in between classes or practicing and stuff like that. And I just like completed the first game again, and like also games like Glory of Heracles, like and Devil Survivor. Like, oh my God, and
Which I'm still
Overclock.
playing.
Devil,
Actually,
like,
I beat one playthrough.
ooh, and Overclocked. Oh, so good, so good. Like,
That's the one I'm on.
oh, I'm jealous because I don't know where my copy is.
It's kind of still waiting for Nintendo to, do a remaster or a port of Kid Icarus Uprising. Just like, what are y'all waiting on? Just do it. Just do it.
Any day now. You look, they have the technology.
They have the technology.
They have the technology. I don't know what's stopping.
I want to be able to fit a mobile device in my pocket, like the DS, or my
Yeah.
coat pocket, or something like that. Like a mobile Switch, yeah, cool, fine, and dandy. But they were on to something with the 3DS. It actually was good, but the 3D aspect was like, if you're
I
not looking
need
directly at the
I
screen,
need
it's
AMD Ryzen 500 and RTX 480 in the size of a Game Boy SP.
That's not gonna happen, champ.
man, you're about to pay like up the ass for that.
That thing is
You,
about to be millions of dollars.
Uh, so yeah, 3DS, Wii U, RIP. The other thing that was RIP was Google Stadia.
Oh,
Oh, shame.
it died as it
oh,
lived. It died as it lived in obscurity.
Irrelevant.
Look at that gorgeous controller.
It's pretty nice. I've never seen a company try to make something so relevant so aggressively and
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 fail at
then just
it.
and fail and be like,
And
well, I don't know where we're wrong, but I guess we got to
so,
stop.
so I
that
have a
reminds me.
question for you, Brian. I'm sorry, Clay, but
Yeah.
I have a
Oh,
question
go for
for
it.
you. Graphically, how did like more taxing games run?
Okay, so Google Stadia's performance is completely based on your internet. So
Okay.
graphically, they the graphics were good. Okay, the best way I could describe it. Imagine a movie that was shot for 4K, but if you have a terrible internet connection, instead of that same movie that's like shot very well with a high, like very expensive camera, you're now seeing that very expensive movie played as a 480p video on YouTube.
Yikes. Okay.
So you can
So the
tell that
graphics are completely okay.
you can tell it's quality, but the actual, the bit rate is low.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm pretty sure if you had like an amazing internet connection, it'd probably be great. I so only reason I had to Stadia, there's like a deal with like YouTube Premium, where I just kind of like got it for free, along with like it's like a little Google casting, and it came with that. So I was like, okay, sure, why not? I think the big pitfall for Google Stadia is that you had to buy every single game.
And was it like full priced?
Yeah, they were full price.
Oh,
So it was
they
like,
Full
should have
price to stream something.
so it
to
was like,
stream it. They should have made it a low price alternative, boy. That would have maybe it would still be live.
and they had like they had like a subscription service, but it didn't get you like all the new games. It was like one or two freebies that they gave out like every month for the subscription, and then like I think discounts. But it was just like I remember the first game I bought on Stadia. It was on sale. It was like um Formula. It was like Formula One, like 2021 or something, like the yearly annual game or whatever, and it ran okay enough on my internet. But yeah, it was just like a big flop, and it was just like I barely touched this thing. I barely messed with it because most of the time the performance wasn't matching, what I wanted, and I was just like, I have an Xbox here. I can just play on Xbox.
Man,
I have an
my
alternative that's way superior. Why am I trying?
Yeah,
Mm.
and then like
man, this
now that we have Google, I'm not Google. Now we have Game Pass. You can a lot of those games are just streamable, and they play, look, and function a lot better than Google Stadia ever did.
man, the good Game Pass, man, Xbox got shit on lock with that damn Game Pass, bro. Even I got this gaming laptop. I'm kind of in it. I'm in it. Fucking the it was. I guess it was one of those things that's good in theory. Like if they did more with if they reworked the subscription service, didn't have games full fucking price, they'd still be around. But it's just like, why do that if you can just play it on PS5 or Xbox Series X?
I
Yeah,
think it's
Like,
because they were wanting to really test the waters of how far could they really try to attract people. How many people were really truly invested in cloud gaming, since there was sprinkles of it here and there across Xbox and PlayStation, with like PlayStation Now, and Xbox had their little streaming stuff too with cloud gaming or whatever. And
mm,
Google Stadia was like, you know what? Forget it. We don't have a console. It's the controller. We
that's
got
an
to stream
expensive
our
ass
game.
test. That's an expensive ass test.
It was.
Yeah, man.
They know better not to do
You
that
think
shit again.
Google has the money to do it right. I don't know why they're trying to cheap
yep.
out. Like Google's not gonna go bankrupt because of the Stadia. What?
It's like a bunch of people just bored, and it's just like, let's make a console. Just like, but I don't want to spend a lot of money. It's okay,
Well,
buddy. The money's right here. They're like,
did the Stadia come with anything free? Was there anything free about the fucking Stadia?
That's what I'm saying.
Your
Like
imagination.
the XMB.
again, if you had like the subscription service, there'll be like a ton of free game. So okay, there'll be like the free games they do every month, but you also get access to all the previous free games. So like if you started kind of late, you kind of would have access to a lot of free games. But again, it'll just be like either games you've seen in other platforms, so that you might have already played, or like some weird Stadia exclusives that were just kind of like, you know. So yeah,
Mm.
because I think I remember Hitman was like one of the big names on Stadia. I think I remember it playing okay.
Mm.
Um, Also, RIP E3. So that's forever
Yeah.
like done for.
That's favor done. So explain to me,
Mm.
because I'm kind of out of the loop with this a little bit.
Okay, so basically, E3 is ran by a much bigger like entity itself. And then pandemic happened, they completely exit out 2020 year. 2021 came around, and either I want to say they did like a digital only thing for 2021 or something like that. It was something weird. And then 2022, they were just like, yeah, we can't, we're not able to do it this year. Sorry, whatever. And then the same thing like 2023, they was like, yeah, we're working out the kinks. We're going to get it, ready for next year. And 2024 is going to be great. And then like 2 months after that, the parent company is like, yeah, we're just done. We're just not doing, E3 anymore. And
Damn.
when Jeff Keighley kind of saw that, like, they were kind of failing, they was falling over top of each other, that's when he kind of made the Summer Games Fest and just kind of took off with that. And that became, the E3 in name and in concept, everything but name. So,
So really, Jeff Keighley is E3.
yeah. Now,
Mhm.
the only thing I will say, like, without E3 used to be like all that information just packed in 1 week. You got it, and you went on, about your summer. The Summer Games Fest is like it's like a whole month and a half of just game announcements and press conferences, and that junk gets tiring
Mm.
because
Yes.
you just don't need all that extra information. E3 was kind of like everything's compacted. You missed a lot of stuff, like all the smaller scale stuff, but all the big announcements you got in that 1 week. You didn't have to pay attention to every little like stream that was coming up for like months and months on end. Something that may be dying soon. PlayStation VR 2 that released this year. Does anybody does anybody actually remember PlayStation VR 2?
Not at all, bro. Not even a little bit.
It came and it's here, but with like a whimper and a fart. Like,
Yeah.
no one cares. Why is your accessory more expensive than your console that it's on? Like, I
That
don't
is.
get it.
And it's
And
like,
you know, VR is much better than it used to be, but it's still too
It is not worth
imperfect.
$600.
It's still too imperfect of a software, and it's just too goddamn expensive for the
Yeah.
average person. Like that's more very much more of a more well off or rich gamer type of experience. Like the average gamer ain't gonna have no fucking VR headset, bro.
like
That's a lot of money.
I feel like the PlayStation VR is definitely for like consumers like me, where you have this open space, and like I don't have a gaming PC, I have a gaming laptop, so it's like, yeah, I could do VR on it, but it's just kind of clunky using a laptop instead of a whole PC. And then just like where my desk is set up, I don't really have that room. So with my PS5 being in the den area, and I had this like big open space between the TV and where I normally sit, I can like legitimately do that setup. But I'm like, it's like 550 or 600 or
It's
something.
almost $600, yo.
That's
Mm-mm.
$100 more than the PlayStation 5 itself. So that's
Yeah,
red
see,
flag
nah.
number one. Two, then you still have to get all the accessories for it. Then you have to buy the games on top of it. It's just like
Mm.
the barrier of entry is so higher than it needs to be for people to want to
Mm.
like willingly jump in. If it was like 300, cool, I would get it. Maybe that'd be like, hey, I'm gonna spend a lot of money on this, but X, Y, and Z.
But I'm not breaking the bank.
Right, but I'm not banking a bank. But to price that junk over the price of the base PS5 is just ridiculous.
Hmm. And like when you get it, what are you gonna play? Financial Freddy's, Help Wanted, 1 and 2.
And I'm pretty sure there's like good games, but it's just like
It's just
they're not
there's
$500 plus worth to invest
Hell
in.
nah. Hell
Yeah, but
nah.
it's like if the
I will
barrier,
not be spending over $500 just to play as Alloy in VR.
like
No.
because like with that barrier, the VR games they're still gonna be expensive, if not more expensive than like the average game of like $70 these days.
Well, no, they're usually pretty cheap. They're usually like in the $20 to $40 range. You often won't find a full price VR game. Look it up.
Tell
They're
that
usually
tell
not
that to
that
Scott
expensive.
Cawthon then.
To who?
It's
Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, because he is tripping.
Oh, then he's just milking.
I blame Steel Studios.
Um. So, a big reveal was Grand Theft Auto 6.
Playing it.
Out motherfucking time, boy.
I'll be the first to say that I've never played a Grand Theft Auto game in my life, but
That's crazy.
since it's taking place in my neck of the woods, Miami, even though it's named what, Vice City.
Yeah,
This isn't.
so the original Vice City was based off of Miami, but like if you looked at the leak map, this Vice City is basically the whole bottom half of Florida.
That bottom half of Florida, bro. It's all of that, bro.
Go. Let's go. I'm actually really going to try my best to purchase this game. Like my neck of the woods.
The graphics. Oh my god.
The graphics. Listen, you see old girl twerking on the car in that train? Man.
In the graphics. That's what this is all about.
This is what it's all about.
Fucking, but nah. Like I got so used. I think I can speak for everyone that Grand Theft Auto 5 is so ingrained into your brain when you think about a Grand Theft Auto game at this point.
Yeah, it's
Like
been out for like
everything
10
before
years.
Grand right. Everything before Grand Theft Auto 5 seems archaic. And fucking Grand Theft Auto 5, I was playing when I was in my prime of playing that game every day. I was playing it on the 360.
I was about to say,
The
we literally watched
360.
this game grow up like it was our own child.
And then the
We watched Grand Theft
DLC
Auto
comes
5 literally
out.
grow up. Yeah.
This
I'm
it
like middle school
turned
right now.
from bruh, and it turned into like this fleshed out game. Now it's some like abomination with tumors coming out of his shoulder, like begging to die because it
Begging to
got all this
die and asking
DLC.
for your money.
Yes, yes, yes. Like people
Okay.
still like it's people still play it, but it's very much not the same game that it was when I was in my prime of playing it like online with my friends. They added so much to it, and there's so many different things you can do with it. But man, it's about
Yeah.
fucking time the Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out.
Like if I was a person that just was like, I have never played GTA Online or a GTA game. I'm gonna play GTA Online first as your first experience, not the game, like not GTA 5, the single player content, but like GTA Online. That is so overwhelming now compared to what it was when it was first released. There is so much
Hmm
stuff in that game now, but they add so much in and they dampen it because they make the pricing for stuff that you want so ridiculous to get you those shot cards. But
Hmm.
yeah,
I mean, at least the DLC was
that's
free. I do like Rockstar for making that DLC free.
that is true. But but at the cost of the cosmetics being insane.
In
Yeah.
some,
But
um,
I'm glad that it's come. It needs to be here.
yeah. So, and I love that it's Florida. You know, Florida man,
Ooh.
the game.
Florida. And the people look like people. Like I don't know if you remember the character creator in Grand Theft Auto Online, but every person you created looked like a fucking like knuckle, like a finger. Like they did not look good. They did not look good.
Yeah, the
The
base of
people
the
you
game
made.
is 10 years old on Xbox 360. And like, if you really think about it, the Grand Theft Auto 5 was released on hardware that was released in 2005 and 2006. So we're still playing a game in leading, and GTA 6 is not coming out till 2026. So, I mean 2025, excuse me. So that means from the span of 2013 to 2025, we're playing a game whose hardware was based on stuff from 2005 and 2006.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Really wild when you really
Oof.
think of it like that.
My God.
I,
Imagine any other game going on for 10 years and still being very relevant to this day. Like the very same game. Like,
that's kind
I,
of well, that's kind of what Destiny 2 is trying to do.
mm,
But like that's the MMO. That's a little bit
yeah,
different.
yeah.
That's a different demographic too of players and different types of players. That's a FPS community
Yeah.
Mm.
versus GTA being a very casual game where anybody can kind of just jump in and out of.
Probably won't really go into details with this, but Insomniac Games got leaked.
Ooh,
Um,
that's hot.
and it's kind of a crazy leak. They kind of show their game plan from like now to like 2028 or something. Like all their
Yeah.
games being released. It's pretty bad for the company. It was ransomware where they wanted to charge like 2 billion or 2 million or something, like some
Billion.
ridiculous fee. I think it might have been 2 million. But it was like some ridiculous fee to get the information back from the hackers, and they obviously didn't pay it. And so they did what they said it was gonna do, leaked all that stuff. So if you want to find out what games got revealed in that and financials and all that stuff, it's out there. You can go ahead and find that.
I'm about to look at that up right now. It's,
My thing is like, why would like, how does it even leak? Like, I know how it possibly leaks, but like, you that not loyal of a company or an employee
No,
to
it
like
was
one not leak it, or actually a hacker like not caring about what everybody else
it's it's
like.
it's most likely a phishing attack, which basically just means you get this email that looks very convincing, like from your
Yeah,
employer or boss. You click it and they download some fucking Trojan virus onto your computer that hacks into the overall company's network, and then
damn,
just like
bro. They
that.
got shit all the way up to 2030, bro.
Yeah, it's wild,
Like,
yeah.
but it's like
it's crazy.
it's kind
Spider-Man 3 gonna go crazy.
it's unfortunate. Like this is how we see into the inside of the company, but it makes sense. A company, especially something as big as Insomniac, yeah, they're going to have a multi-year plan. They're going to have things in place because if you have a game that's coming in 2030, you got to plan for when you're going to start that game, when another project's going to end, what team is going to be on that. So, it makes sense, especially how quickly Insomniac Games puts out games.
Mm.
It's not
You've
crazy to
played a,
think.
you've played enough video game tycoon games to know how that all goes.
Hey, there's a Wolverine.
Well,
That
that
Wolverine. I've already seen. They already have like footage of that Wolverine game that's coming out.
Well, yeah, that was from the leak. And
Yeah,
the unfortunate thing about it is like people were kind of shitting on it online, be like, "Oh, this game looks terrible." I'm like, y'all wasn't supposed to see the game in this state. Like this is like pre-alpha. This is like
this is like
this is them
still
actively working.
experimenting,
not
and then
everybody has a
experimenting with the
wireframe.
game, bro. Like, come on now.
Not all the characters have wireframes yet. Like, give it hold on.
Um, and then big news after like what it feels like 2 or 3 years, Activision has finally fully been acquired by Microsoft. Jesus Christ, it took forever.
That was a battle and a half, boy.
Yeah, it's something that should have just been like, all right, let's wrap this stuff up. But no, it got really weird because it got to like, all right, Microsoft's like, all right, we'll give Call of Duty to Nintendo for 10 years. It was like weird
And then
stuff
and
like
Nintendo
that.
was like, we don't want that.
It
We
can't
didn't
run
even-
on ours.
All right, like we know we can't do that.
Then somehow Ubisoft got into the deal, and then like cloud gaming got brought. It was just messy. Uh, but it's finally through. I cannot wait. Bobby Kotick is finally out. He's been officially out of the company by December 28th or something like that. So he's no longer associated with the company. Maybe
I
we
hope
can,
he enjoys his retirement.
yeah, or just stay away from people. Just take your money and go. Hopefully we can finally get like new Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Jesus, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Games and new Spyro games and Crash Bandicoot games, Hexen and Heretic games.
Listen, if we
Man, I
do get a
love a
new
new
Crash
Hexen,
Bandicoot
bro.
if
Hexen was
we
such a good ass game.
You give me Spyro, bro. Give me Spyro and Cry.
yes, please
Please.
Spyro. But if we do get a new Crash Bandicoot game, please let it not be hard as shit. Or-
No, yes,
you know it's
no,
gonna be.
let
You
that
know it's
shit
gonna
be
be hard.
hard as
No, it
fuck.
needs to be
No,
hard.
it needs to be
Like,
hard as fuck, bro. That's the identity of Crash, bro. No, if you get good, that's what you need to do.
listen, I played the original Crash Bandicoot until that CD just got scratched the fuck up. But god damn, like I couldn't. I'm still not finished with Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
I'm
I
with you, Clayton.
tried so hard.
I can't do hard games like that. Crash Bandicoot just made me infuriated when I first
I
tried
Looks
played.
it.
like yeah. It looks like y'all need to go to like Kirby's Epic Yarn or some shit.
Yes, if I can actually play the game, enjoy it. Yes, fine. Give me a Kirby game. I don't care.
Play a grown man's game like Kirby Superstar, like me
Like,
and Max did.
like being a
Yeah,
grown
that shit was
man
fun. Yeah.
and you're coming home and it's just like, all right, I got an hour to play video games, and you spend that hour on one fucking level. That's not
All right,
okay.
I got an hour video game. So do I fight this boss in Elden Ring and hate myself, or do I go play Stardew Valley and actually have a great evening?
And boy, I used to love me some Stardew Valley after work, boy.
Boy, did you.
Hop on a Switch, hop on the couch, and I'm just gone, boy.
Man.
Um, and I'll be glad to get those games added on Game Pass, get more value to Game Pass. Um, so Embracer Group, the company that owns like a million different things. They own like Tomb Raider and Borderlands and exclusive rights to Lord of the Rings game and Laura Croft. Oh, well, I said Tomb Raider. A Duke Nukem, like a bunch of different stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the company is basically falling apart. They
Uh-oh.
At one point it was like a ridiculous amount of studios they acquired. It's like the 50s or 60s. In terms of studios they acquired, they were banking on a deal by the Saudi Arabians that fell through. And then once that, like, it was like $1 billion deal and billions of dollar deal or whatever. And when that deal fell through, they had no money, so they had to
Mm.
like they started firing. I think it's like over 900 employees that they fired over 2023.
Damn, that's a lot of
Damn.
people. Damn, bro.
Closed down studios, like the studio that did Saints Row. That was They owned Saints Row. They closed that studio down.
Damn.
Um,
That's
they
a shame. I mean, the game wasn't good, but hey.
but they didn't deserve that.
My
Um,
dad loved that game. He said he beat it.
Well, no, the new Saints Row? Hmm.
He loved it. But he doesn't play games very often either, so
Gotcha.
he likes what he likes.
so yeah, and that went into a much bigger story of the industry as a as a whole. A ton of layoffs, just like a ridiculous amount of like job losses in the video game industry, which is really ridiculous because it was a great year in gaming in terms of the quality of games and sales. Like the a lot of the sales figures this year for gaming companies, individual IP were just through the roof, and it's ridiculous that so many people. The number is close to 1,000 to 10,000 jobs lost
Yeah.
over this year in the gaming industry through various and through game development, through game publications. Yeah, it's just been a rough year.
And
Um,
it feels like that shouldn't be the case because it feels like we've just had so much good this
Mm-hmm.
year as we talk about our favorite games of this year. But it feels like there's just been so many good things happening with games that there shouldn't be this problem. Like,
Capitalism.
Yeah, they want
Yeah.
that money. Like, because even as of recent news, like Discord, they started laying off a lot of people because like they did a massive layoff, and like some companies they even do it in the shittiest way, where like how Discord did it. How I recently found out this was through TikTok, was like they had a meeting that they like had to be like that. Oh, we you have to come to this meeting, and they were basically announced like, oh, we're gonna have layoffs. They didn't even tell them like in the meeting, oh, you're getting laid off. They had to find out via email,
Yeah, that's the worst.
and I'm like, dude, get it together. Like
I know,
capitalism is not slapping.
I know when Blizzard, there's like a YouTube short. I forget who the streamer was, but he used to work for Blizzard, and like when there was like a big layoff thing going on with them, he said that he was like one of the few employees. He got let go the same day. But what had happened was when you come through the front door of the Blizzard HQ, like the building that they work in or whatever to go with whichever division you work in, when you come through the front door, there'd be two dudes, and depending on who you were, they would one would stop you and say, "Hey, go this way," and the other one would say, "Hey, stop and go this way." And depending on which guy you got to tell you to go which way, you were either going to your desk to go back at work, or you were going out the back way to
take
be
your ass
fired
off.
to
That's
get off the premises
wild.
of the building.
That's
wild.
crazy.
And what was even more messed up was the fact that not everybody went through the very front of the building. So there were those who would come through the back or some other entranceway. They go directly to their desk and they find out hours later because their manager would be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm working. What are you talking about?" And he's like, can you get your stuff and can we talk to you really quickly about something?" And they were just that clean cut and dry, like just goodbye.
Well, they're like off Peter saying,
Yeah, so it's wild. I feel very bad for any person going into that line of work and really aspiring to be creative in that kind of space because it doesn't seem like it's very lucrative and very sustainable right now, as from what these layoffs and everything is insinuating.
Like,
Showing.
I know I would like love to blame capitalism all day, like, because like as you said, with all the record profits and stuff like that, there are just way too many jobs out there for like people to be let go in such a manner. Like, first of all, let's even talk about the respect. Like, if I have to show up to work to find out I'm going to be losing my job in like the most disrespectful way, like either via email or like go a certain way, just like have a meeting with me, like person to person, and say, "Hey, we're letting you go," but they can't even give me that decency.
At the same time, those managers are like, "I can buy your entire block. Please leave my building."
damn.
What can you do? This Blizzard, well, old school Blizzard people we're talking about.
So
Like it's just a tough cookie.
That has to suck, man. Man, that has to suck. Imagine you're struggling. Imagine you're already struggling is you going to work one time and it's like, yeah, no, goodbye.
yeah, it's completely wild. So yeah, that was some of the biggest gaming news that I wanted to talk about. One other one I didn't talk about, I didn't put on my initial list, was the day before.
Oh my Jesus Christ, that thing is a unicorn of terribleness.
Yeah, I feel like it's been talked out a lot by other gaming mediums, but the long and short of it was this game promised a whole lot, didn't deliver on it. Released almost as a completely different genre, and then the company went out of business like 4 days after it got released.
Oh my god!
Straight up imploded. I mean, like
And
fall on your
I
face.
feel like, man, I
Face
feel
first
so out of the
into
loop.
a pile of like dog dookie like splat, like terrible.
and
You
like
say it's called The Day Before?
yes, or the day after, the day before. I think it's the day before. Um, and this situation's funny only because when you have like a Blizzard where they're making these ginormous projects and billions of dollars of revenue, and they lay off all these people unjustly. The day before is different because these devs promised something, didn't deliver, had a whole bunch of shady practices like asking for volunteer work to finish the game, um, having fake headquarters in different like countries to get like tax breaks and stuff, saying that it's going to be an online MMO and it ends up being like a looter shooter extraction shooting game using flipped assets, like from like the store, like the little game creation stores, and not really doing their own like stuff.
It was a living embodiment of we have what's that shit? The Division 2 at home.
Damn.
It literally was that, but
So
worse.
yeah, so it was funny because like a lot of people bought it just for like the foolishness of it, and it would have been one of those haha it's funny terrible game, terrible online game, whatever, and then it kind of just like, oh, we're out of business. oh yeah, the founders are just like, yeah, we're done.
We're closing the game. Goodbye.
Yeah, we didn't make a lot of money on this. It couldn't, we couldn't sustain ourselves. All right, goodbye. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of money that's just not adding up right with that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Somebody's about to be underneath a federal prison. Like, there's no jokes about that.
Underneath.
So yeah, so let's transition to games that we want to talk about that were released in 2023. I know me and DeYante's lists are a little bit lengthy. So I'll go first with one of my picks. Um, I'll start off a game that came out very early in the year, Hi-Fi Rush. Um, Xbox exclusive by Tango Gameworks, the people who did like horror games. And it's the complete opposite. It's like very anime. It's very rock. It's very like bright colors, cel shaded graphics, constantly moving. It's a rhythm action game, and I'm usually pretty terrible at like rhythm games, despite being a musician. I know. Despite being a musician, I'm pretty terrible at rhythm games. Like I was never good at Guitar Hero. God knows I couldn't do Dance Dance Revolution. Um, like Rhythm Heaven, I wasn't too great at those either. But this game stuck with me. I love the art style. The characters are so great. And it's just like, and I'm not even a big rock fan either, but it's just like the constant like great use of the music and how it builds over the stage. It was such a fun time. It was one of the few games that I actually like beat. I didn't complete it. I didn't like do all the side stuff and all that stuff, but I completed it. I finished it top to bottom. It's one of the few games of last year that actually did that too, and it was a great time. Kind of sucks it's only on Xbox, so people can't experience it. But get Game Pass. It's on Steam too. But yeah, it's great, great fun.
I plan to get it eventually. I do want to get it and play it.
Let's go to Max. What do you have?
Super Mario Bros. Wonder, actually.
Ooh, I never got to play
Yes.
I played it.
That game, yes, I have. I'm still in the middle of playing it. I'm not too far in the game, but so far what I have seen, this game is super creative. Like every new level, every level has its own little thing by the Wonder Seed that happens, and it kind of adds some flavor to whatever level you're playing, which is usually a new game mechanic. You know, levels will be completely unique. Like you'll have a level where you have these giant fucking hippos, to where if you like jump on them, they'll roll and they take up a lot of space, and they'll bounce and roll everywhere. And like the Wonder Seed will have a whole bunch of them, or maybe you'll have a stampede that you're on this like fast track level. You're on top of it. You have to jump to dodge obstacles, or you have to you know do jump to dodge obstacles, or maybe move forward and backwards on the stampede to avoid certain obstacles, and it's just a lot of fun. Like honestly, it's more Mario. Like the base mechanics of the game is like, if you play New Super Mario Bros, you get the mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, ground pound, jump off wall, spin, jump, all that extra Mario stuff. It's there. It's just it has a lot of extra charm to it. You can definitely tell a lot of love was put into the game.
I figure,
So
I mean,
yeah,
it's a Mario game I don't miss.
if you want a good platformer, Wonder is a good way to go. Like, come on, it's Mario, and they did a really fucking good job with this one.
Dope. I really want to play it. I have a kind of big trip coming up in a few months, so that might be one of the games to just purchase and just play on that trip. Um,
Now, what I want to see, that new Sonic game. What was it called again?
I'll get to that.
Oh, you played it. Oh, you played it. Oh.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a few.
Okay.
Clayton, what's your pick?
Let's start off early. So I haven't played many games, other than like do we want to start live service games discussion now or a little bit later?
Anywhere, because we're just gonna rotate around.
Okay, so I guess I'll start with Overwatch, which is my most played game like for the last 2 years in a row. Um, so Overwatch 2, uh, this live service. First of all, let me make comments. So Blizzard, they're trying to literally just suck money out of everybody. They're just like, oh, money, we're gonna suck that shit up through a
Of
straw. Like,
course they are.
like, but, like, obviously you have returning events like Winter Wonderland, like game modes like Lucio Ball for the summer, excuse me, for the summer, and all this other stuff. Like I see them making more collaborations. Like if you tuned into our last episode where we discussed music, anime, movies, and television shows, where I talked about the Seraphim, like Perfect Night with Overwatch 2 had a collaboration with them, and then they had a music video to go along with it. Like skins, dope, but they're expensive. I'm not dropping like $40 for a single, no, $30 for a single skin, or like over $40 just for skins. I want more game modes. I want more like content. I want a well balanced video game, and especially with recent announcements, like somebody's television is really
Yeah,
loud.
Max, that television is really loud.
It's picking it up that much. Fuck.
Yes, it's like Clayton's
Mm,
competing with it.
I was like,
Oh Lord.
"Ooh." But yeah, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, like I lost my
Baby,
train of thought thinking about the TV.
you watching the
Overwatch
TV down just a little bit?
collaborations.
Overwatch
I
collaboration.
said, you
Yeah,
watching the
like
TV down just a little
it's
bit?
just getting expensive to be
Huh?
like be a gamer, and especially like when there's a
Thank
paywall.
you, bro.
Like understand like the battle pass situation, all this stuff. Yeah, you can get the battle pass, blah blah blah. But it's sometimes making the game unplayable until you reach a certain level in the battle pass. Because like with the most recent character, Malga, like oh, what on launch, very overpowered tank, doing too much damage, all throwing the balance of the game off completely off, and then you have to reach level 45 if you're not going to purchase the battle pass just to unlock the character. So that felt like kind of a play to win situation until you level up that battle pass to 45, and I'm like, dude, why no? Just start off the battle pass with a free character, let everybody else go through all that, and see if they want to purchase a battle pass. It kind of discourages like the average player or the casual player from purchasing the battle pass because it feels like this um Mount Zion kind of amalgamation that you can't reach without forking out some money or putting extra time into the game that some people just don't have time to. Like let's be honest, like there are a lot of people out here who play video games to relax, whether it's a first person shooter, even if it's competitive, that might be relaxing to them. But if they feel like a paywall is in the way of them being successful in a game, it's just not going to work. Which
Mm-hmm.
further makes me concerned about the direction of the game and especially the balance. Like we were discussing before we recorded this episode, like some things with um characters that are not in the support role getting passives that a support would get just tweaked down.
Yeah, Max, if you didn't
Uh,
hear the latest news is
mm,
that they're they're trying to experiment with adding passive healing to every like hero. So like
They're making this shit paladins, bro. This shit is now paladins. This shit is paladins. The pay to win, the healing out of what is it? I'm guessing it's a if you stay at a combat long enough, your health starts to go up, right?
mhm.
yeah, that was like the
Pal-
other passive.
Paladins. That's paladins.
Let's go play
Bro,
Paladins, everybody.
man, no, I got banned from that shit. I'm not grinding on that shit
Yeah,
again.
man, I'm out.
Bro, I got for nothing. To this day, I still don't know why I'm
I
banned.
forgot about that.
Bro,
Bro, I
y'all
forgot
remember
too.
that was a phase, bro. I couldn't play any other game but Paladins because all my games were locked. And I lost all that progress I made.
Dude.
Imagine I remember that period. Max was fucking stressed. with that
Bro,
stupid
I
ass
what
game.
that stupid ass game. I was doing competitive. I was plat, bro. I was like plat one. I was about to be for damn diamond and lost all my shit. Like, come on now.
God, that was around the time period where I first got my PlayStation 4, and you're like, "Oh, bro, you gotta play Paladins. You gotta play Paladins." I'm like, let me try out Overwatch, and then
And yeah, I didn't want y'all to actually play the game. I just want someone to play with. I couldn't. I just.
oh, so you wanted somebody else to suffer with you? Cool.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
did not. We were. You knew I was
I
not
I
having
I
that
played Paladins a little, because it came on
on
the
the
Switch.
Switch.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, this is cool.
I tried it on the Switch, and it was okay for like the first week, and I was like, man, I really just want to play Overwatch.
Right?
Man.
It just feels better. That
Google and
necess-
Google.
that doesn't necessarily make it a completely enjoyable experience all the time.
Mm-mm. All right, but back to the Overwatch conversation.
I could talk all day about Overwatch and its problems. Just they need to figure out something with this balance in like just overall like quality of life. Like it's
Here's a long
making go
here's a
for it.
long short. The Overwatch is a game where there's too many complex things going on at the same time, and they're trying to balance the game to cater to both the casuals who just want to pick the game up and the people that are in the top 500 GM, blah, 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 blippity blah, that want to play this extremely competitive, everybody talks game, and Blizzard doesn't know which one to
Cater
cater
to.
to.
To cater
That's
to.
basically what it is right now. And with the changes in Blizzard management and stuff like that, it's making it hard for them to like kind of pinpoint which route to go as far as how do we monetize our game so that we still making money because we are still free to play and we still gotta we gotta charge off for something. So let's go ahead and make our characters busted so that way when people see that that busted character is behind the battle pass and they see that's how I can win. Oh, I will pay $10 to win all of my games. But the
Mm.
problem is also that the Overwatch is such a diversely played game because you could tell a bronze player from a gold player from a masters player. And so, plat is the plat gold is like the plat gold silver is like the main body of the community. But like, I mean, you got to think about how people that play in bronze or in well silver and lower how they play, and people that play in diamond up how they play, and how it is a different game
Yeah,
essentially that's being played. Different mind game, different like shooter almost, and then
yeah,
sometimes it
and
doesn't even feel like a shooter depending on the character that you're playing. So everybody plays the game differently, and they have to worry about that, and they don't know what to do. Let's put it like that. They don't know how they keep adding stuff and that tuning stuff back to make it so that way it's bearable for more things to be added. Like healing should not be as outrageous as it should be, but a lot of things should not be as outrageous as they should be. It's just very there's a lot of high numbers and not a lot of fun.
just
That's what I feel like. Apex
like
is more fun, and I keep getting shot at by Preds and Masters.
Man,
uh,
every time I play Apex, I get destroyed.
but it's
So
it's
I
it's
don't play.
getting it's getting a little more fun as of late, probably
At least
because of
there's
They got
mixtape
the
where people that at least like the movement of Apex don't have to deal with VR at all.
Yeah,
okay,
that's why I need to
fucking
get back on that.
man, I need to too. They just added the Buster Sword event in there, boy. I want to go in there, fucking.
Ooh, should we just bring up the battle royale while we're on the topic? Because
I
oh,
mean, if y'all want to spend over $360 for a death box that has an angel wing on it, then by all means, go for
Nah, I don't give a fuck about that. I just want to wield the bust. I just want to wield that Buster Sword, baby.
it. That's fair. That's a good answer. That's a real good answer, actually.
my like mm, mm,
Well, let's move
the
on to DeYante. What do you have for your pick that you want to talk about right now?
I'm going in a different direction. Released earlier this year, and other people talk about it. Can we talk about the Metroid Prime remaster that I'm probably the only one that played? Because
You are
my
the only one that played.
goodness, oh
Damn,
my
I
god,
slick forgot about it, but I know Metroid Prime is a
oh,
goated game, so
oh man, that's childhood Yante boy. Like Metroid Prime was literally the second GameCube game I played on Christmas of when I first got my GameCube. And it blew my mind. Like, imagine playing Crash Bandicoot and like PlayStation 1 games. Because I didn't have a PS2 at the time yet either, and neither did anybody in my family. But we didn't have a PS2, so we hadn't had that in our house yet. And Metroid Prime was like the first game, and I was like, this is insane. Like, it's in space. I don't know what this camera angle. That was like my first person shooter. So it was an experience. And then it kind of sort of reliving that, but like in a handheld. And this looks so good. Oh
The
my
footage I've seen looks
Jesus.
really good for the Switch.
They worked some like Mario Kart magic on here, yeah. Like it is
no.
insane. The lighting is phenomenal. Like seeing water from like Talon 4 is which is the planet that you land on, but like you get like it's like watery-ish area and it's raining and stuff. You can see like the water droplets clean as hell on her gun, on her
Oh,
coming down her
nice.
visor. It is just ugh. And like the cleanup of like no jaggies or anything from like what used to be in the I mean on the GameCube, Metroid Prime was not a slouch anyway. That game still looks gorgeous as a GameCube
That
game.
game does hold
And
up, bro. That
that
game
is a
does hold up.
launch GameCube game too. Or at least a little bit close to launch. But that's our early GameCube game. That game looks great.
Yeah, I
So
think it was
on
like
Switch,
2002.
hmm
Mm.
and it has modern controls. Like on the GameCube, you had to. It was kind of a little funky with like certain ways you had to move and stuff.
Yeah,
And like,
2002.
okay,
So yeah,
and
close-ish to launch.
yeah, and like the controls are great. It has accessibility features. It sounds good. It's a great game. And I guess the other game that kind of came out around the same year, well, not year, actually a week later. I'm gonna be extremely brief because I'm the only one that played this too. Final Fantasy The Rhythm Final Bar, which is the Final Fantasy rhythm
The
game.
rhythm game.
Oh,
It's and
Max,
so I
your
was trying to
background
talk
again.
louder
Huh?
than that.
Your background again is getting loud.
There's nothing I can really do. Chastity's on the phone.
Ah,
oh,
gotcha.
oh.
Um, but yeah, the Final Fantasy rhythm game definitely is more so one of those games where if you are a huge fan, like I am, of video game music in general, I think you should give it a look see. And if you have a hankering for very good JRPG music and JRPG music that has stood the test of time. Like these are pretty much every Final Fantasy game and anything that had anything to do with any Final Fantasy media and it had music related to it. That song is in the game, and you could just do a rhythm based game off of that. It's great. Like you could literally just put it on. You could pick a random track from Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, play it, and then move on to like another song and another song. And it's like has like leveling up stuff like you're actually playing the game of Final Fantasy and stuff like that. So it's very, very, very it tries to stick to its roots as a RPG too, but the RPG mechanics are pretty minuscule. You're really there for the rhythm game. You're really there for the music. Visually,
That's cool.
it's very 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 beautiful as well. Like a lot of the spark effects and colors and stuff that go around and the sprite work for the different characters, the villains and the heroes, because you get to play as both. You can have any of them from the Final Fantasy universe. Like you can have Cloud teamed up with Sephiroth and maybe like two other like final boss villains from other games all on the same team. It's like it's tough. so you can have like these power fantasies and
Okay,
enjoy good music.
well,
So
I'm reading it now, and I take it back
don't switch games.
because
All right,
the only reason I say it is
Max, you can
because
just
it
mute
says
your
that you
mic
have to
until
wait
you talk.
years.
I'm trying. I've been adjusting the game. I've been trying. Here.
Yeah,
Okay.
just hit the red button and just hold. It did. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, because it was just getting louder and louder and louder. It was getting like to the point we about to hear her conversation.
Oh, I heard.
And the internet does not need to hear personalized conversations. So I will go into two selections. Actually, no. Just to kind of move around some. Halo. I'm gonna talk about briefly about Halo. Um,
Yeah, give us an update on that.
so Halo Infinite's like they did a really big season drop, and that was what the community called the Forge update, and essentially Forge in the past Halo games were basically community based map creator or map maker, in which the community can make their own maps. They can mess with the geology, put their own placements and stuff like that. And what's really dope about this is it does a few things. One, it allows fans to make up their own stuff, and then everybody can play on the maps. Two, it allows you to like easily recreate old maps. So like one of the cool uh playlists that they put on there was Halo 3 Reforged, which was just a playlist of a bunch of Halo 3 maps redone in Halo 5's Forge mode. So it's like if you wanted to, relive all those old Halo 3 maps, you go onto that playlist and then you're able to, play all those modes with Halo 5's modern, features.
Now, how in depth did Halo Infinite's Forge go?
I I haven't played with it myself. In terms of like creating stuff, I was never good at that stuff. But there I know that you can do like the zoning and stuff like that. But one thing that they did add to Forge, which is really cool, they've added AI to Forge. So you can now do firefights like how classic Halo like Reach was, where you can make an objective in your game and everybody that's playing in the game is working together and it's like a PvE situation, and you can place like a bunch of enemy grunts at spawn at certain points or have them coming at certain things onto your Forge map itself. And so, it adds like a creativity because now you can kind of create your own Halo levels. And so you can make like people like make mazes and spawn enemies in certain places for you to take out as you go through this maze or as you go through this map and stuff like that. Um, and maybe it's just a placebo effect coming back to Halo after a while, but it seems like the game's a little bit faster. Seems like the time to kill is a little bit shorter. Um, but also feels like because I just haven't been played Halo for so long, I get like destroyed. Like I get online and I'm just like I may win, I may get a few kills here and there, but it's like the skill level has gotten so much higher since I last played. Um, but yeah, um, the biggest thing with Halo Infinite's multiplayer was just lack of maps, and now having almost an endless amount of maps that helps cure a lot of the fatigue that Infinite set in stone.
Because at that point, it's user
Because
generated content.
right, and I was fucking man, Halo 3 and Halo Reach. I was a Forge motherfucker. I spent a good portion of my time. If I wasn't on online, if I wasn't like on online play, I was on Forge,
Mm.
and that was it. After you play the campaign once, it's whatever. But me and my brothers used to play Forge all the time, make our own maps, make a whole bunch of other shit. It was just fun, and I'm glad they brought that to Halo Infinite. You know,
One
maybe I'll find myself playing that.
one thing, and I mean, again, Infinite's multiplayer is free. One cool thing I used to love about the old Forge, like the the Reach days, the races So you used to be able to make races, and like people will actually make tracks, and the game will track how many laps you do, or you could do like one single lap.
Man, what? Yes.
And they used to do some of the races where it's like you're like on the mongoose, and then like once you reach a certain barrier, it destroys the mongoose, and you have to do the rest on foot, and then do like parkour and climbing and stuff. A bunch of cool stuff.
That sounds dope.
Yeah, like while a lot of people, like a lot of fans were mad because Forge used to be at launch, you know, that used to just be a default feature that you can do, and so the fact that it took like 2 years for it to come in, a lot of people were upset about that. But it's finally here. It's great to see the community like making maps, and 343 themselves recreating old maps so that you can get that like buzz from fans. They still need to make new maps. They still terribly slow on that, but at least we have new content in that sense. Another game I want to quickly talk about, Forza Motorsport, that came out this year. I'm probably the only one that really cares about racing sims here.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but it's Forza Motorsport. It was kind of a reboot of the series for Series X, and it seems like they're going to do it as a platform. Graphically, the game looks really, really great. I will say it's very slow paced. So this is not Forza Horizon where you're doing crazy jumps and leaps, and you're getting to try all these wacky cars and this big open world environment. It's very much like, all right, you gotta worry about what engine you're putting on here, what tires, the exhaust pipe, the spoiler, like all that
Oh,
affects
it's that
these.
meticulous.
Yeah, it's like this affects this stats, and like the more you play with this card, the higher the car points are. So you can use that car points to upgrade this thing, and then if you put this thing on here, your acceleration will go down, but your overall speed will go up, and if you do this, you lose less control, but it's a bunch of like stuff like that. So deals a lot with like car feel. It does get a little dull if you're not into that stuff. Um, just doing a single like little circuit thing of like 5 or so races could take well over an hour of just constant playing. If you want to go that route.
So Horizon's the casual and Motorsport's the try hard.
Yeah, basically.
Hmm.
Were they trying to purposely make that distinction?
Yeah, it's kind of always been like
Okay.
that. So yeah. Max, do you have a game you want to talk about?
Elden Ring, but nah. Fucking. What else is there, man? I played a couple of indie games. I don't know if those games came out in 2023 though. There's specifically this ninja game. What the fuck was that? I cannot remember what it was, but maybe you'll recognize it by the gameplay. You're basically this assassin for hire that also happens to be a fucking ninja. And each map, you know, each map has a set amount of enemies and so on and so forth. You have one attack, which is like a slash, but you also have different things you can do. You can like dodge, roll. You can, of course, jump. You can also slow down time. You can have bullet time. It's a 2D platformer. It's a 2D platformer. So you go throughout different forms, slicing your way. And it's really fun, actually. It's very, because a lot of bullshit that can happen. You can like pick up a throwing axe and throw that shit that's going to deflect their bullets and then cut through them. You fucking jump over one guy, slice his head off, dodge the bullet, slice another guy, fucking throw the knife up the stairs. It's a lot of shit that can happen. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the game, but whenever I do, I'll come back to it. And it's very fast paced. If you die, you just press the button. It's going to rewind time back to the start of the level. You try again.
Oh,
It's
I
very
remember.
fast paced.
Yeah, when you were playing it, that looked fun.
Can't remember what the game's called, but I played it the other day. Really fun.
Okay, get back
once
to us if you remember.
Yeah.
Clayton, what about you?
Only other like because again I don't play that many games, so the other game that I played the most was Apex. So opening that can of worms, just being like, again, it's a live service game, so you got your battle pass, you got your live events, and like though this event did not occur in 2023, it's a current event with the Final Fantasy VII collaboration, where people are paying close to $400 just for shit on their death box and other
Jesus
cosmetics, and it
Christ.
was, yeah, it's just too much. Like live service games are just getting too much with their cosmetics. But then again, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect your impact playing the game itself. So it's like to me not that big of a deal. But yeah, like it's a no for me, dog. Like I'm tired. It's just a no. But other than that, Apex is still Apex. Don't know how to balance the game. We're introducing new characters that are completely broken. Cough, cough, conduit. Um, Still kind of broken in my opinion. But yeah, because even right now I'm playing Tetris Effect. Like I don't play a lot of games, like so to speak. So, but I can also like bring up a little bit of Street Fighter 6 because like I have played the demo at least. I did not purchase the game, but it seems very very fun. But
Well, me and
at
D can
least
definitely expand on that.
yeah, like I'll give like the frosting. You guys get the cake. So, but from what I've played, it's very fun. It's like user friendly to start the game. But personally, I've played a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom, like 2, 3, and Ultimate. Like, and it's just a different play style of fighting game. Like, it's as far as inputs, and then like once you get onto the competitive level, you start talking about frame rates and stuff like that. So I'm glad that Street Fighter has like the you go into training and then you can just go and check frame rates and stuff like that. So that's Gucci. Um, Anybody else want to take it away? Oh, Kimberly looks fun. She looks fun.
I
Jeez.
found the game. It's called Katana Zero, and it came out 4 fucking years ago. So no, it's not a 2023 game.
You are so off.
It's not though.
Well, at least you enjoy it. That's
Yes,
all that matters.
I enjoyed the game in 2023. So hey, nigga, we
Right,
ball.
that's the important part.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, D, you want to talk about Street Fighter?
Apex is okay. I'm having fun with it. I get me some wipes here and there, blah blah blah. Street Fighter is this is coming from a purely casual sense, and I would like to learn the inner workings of the game because it just seems like a very nifty game to learn the ins and outs. And it just looks so cool when you see certain things happen the way they happen in the game. Like the moment to moment gameplay of Street Fighter 6 is some of the best fighting gaming that you can kind of sort of have right now. Until Tekken 6 comes out on January.
Hey.
But
We're not here for Tekken slander.
the moment to moment gameplay is sick. Like I feel like I can pick up any character except for maybe like I don't know a charge character like Guile or somebody, and
Well, I mean,
just
even
feel
then
successful.
they changed up a
They
lot of
dumbed
those
it down
cards.
a little bit.
They changed up a lot of these charge characters too.
Yeah, that too. And you know the addition to making it a very accessible Street Fighter game where anybody can actually jump in and play. You do not have to be you don't have to know any kind of like anything about fighting games. You just want to pick up the game and press buttons and see cool shit happen on your screen. Street Fighter 6 is absolutely the game where you can go in, put on modern controls and press buttons. And it looks cool. I mean, and people have that stigma of like, oh, well, if you play on modern controls, blah, 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 if you play on regular or classic controls, blah blah blah. Look, at this point, if even Capcom is like, we don't give a fuck, just play how you want to, because they're allowing both sets of controls in tournaments too sometimes, depending
Yeah,
on the tournament. Just play the game. It's
and
great. The whole world tour thing is like a tutorial, a glorified tutorial where you can make your own character, and the character creator is like
I,
ridiculous for a Capcom
Yeah,
game.
I
I
see some ridiculous shit going on, bro. And also the modern control, bro. If you fighting anybody that knows what the fuck they're doing, it don't matter if you classic controls, modern
Right.
controls, playing with the
You can still
dog
clean house.
DK bongos, bro. It doesn't matter, bro. If someone that knows what they're doing is gonna rock your shit, bro. They're gonna rock your shit
And they're
with
gonna
those
get the
modern
USB
controls.
steering wheel.
Right.
oh
Bro, it
lord.
don't matter, bro. I was playing, I was getting some combos off mashing, but I do what's called strategic button mashing, where I know what buttons do, but I don't know how to string shit together. But if I know I need to go low, I'll mash low buttons. If I know I need to go high, I'll mash high buttons. Right? Strategic button mashing. I was fighting against Dante's ass, and he's still mopping the fucking floor with
of course he's Dante.
Right.
me.
He knows
And
every frame before the frame becomes a frame.
and I always thought of it from like an accessibility standpoint, because like if you have motor issues or like you have like I forgot the name of the condition where your hands always shaking or a certain limb
Parkinson's.
constellation. Yeah, Parkinson's. Like it would be so much easier, like because you could be goaded at the game. It's just it takes some maneuvering for certain people to get around. So bravo. I'm all for those controls.
Like I will say this, the game is difficult if you're trying to if you think it's going to be one of those experiences where you even though you play with your boys and you're doing cool shit with them, but you try to play against somebody that actually knows the fuck they're doing online, you're gonna be playing in a completely different universe,
Mm-hmm.
because the online space is definitely different from playing in your own like little niche group of friends like us.
Yeah.
Because good lord, playing against other randoms, I just didn't have legacy skill from Street Fighter 6 with they know what's going on, or just any other game where characters have already been in the game and know the movesets. It is painful.
Mm.
Especially if you want to actively learn how to play the game. Nothing about the game teaches you about what you're doing wrong in playing the game, which is a bit of a step back, especially if you want to know what you're doing wrong, but you don't know. You just know, you just see you lose and you got double perfect by a Cammy or a Ken or somebody and teabagged.
You can't forget
Street Fighter
taunting.
6 good.
Yeah, it
I,
is a good game, and that game it's cool. I love the style of the game too, bro.
That's
It has
it.
mechanic. It has mechanics to stop you from getting corner camped. It has mechanic. If you know how to use them, you can find success. But boy, I was getting my shit murked every time I played that game. I was getting destroyed, bro. I suck at Street Fighter,
I do
Mm.
but
too.
which
But
does
I like it.
which doesn't make sense because you're
Wait,
like crazy good at Smash,
that's it. That's just the secret, though.
but you
Smash is the only fighting game that I am good at. Every other shit, I am buns. I'm trash.
hot cross buns, but it's
Which shouldn't
okay.
be the case.
right. A lot of that should transfer over.
No, it does because it's a party game. It's not a fighting
No, but
game.
your actual like the way
Reaction
you
times and
yeah
stuff.
the way you actually like build up combos in Smash is very very
I'm
transferable over
you know
because it's just
you
a
know what's crazy?
sequence of things, and that's all
I am
combos
a
are.
goat. Yeah, it's weird. I'm a goat at platformers. I'm really good at platforming games. But fighting games, it doesn't. Something up here doesn't click, and I'll be like, fuck, like I won't get it. I'll genuinely try and genuinely get my ass whooped. So hey,
Mm. But in Street Fighter 6, are there like missions that you can do with individual characters or like levels or something like that so you can like learn combos?
Yeah, yeah.
There's trials,
Trials.
there's and the World Tour mode that teaches you the individual mechanics. Like, this is how you start a combo off of a low parry without the game telling you this is how you start a combo with a low
Yeah.
parry. They'll say, hey, just
Do
block,
this.
parry, do this move, and then follow up with a combo yourself. They're
Well,
not
I
going to tell you the
mean,
inputs because you have to,
well, I mean, if okay, I will say this: if you do the character tutorial, they do go in depth because you have to go, you have to do the
Yes.
auxiliary information. If you do the auxiliary information on the character specific tutorial, they will say, oh, you could use this to start a crossover or cross
Yeah.
up. You could use this to do zoning, elements or whatever.
Yeah, the character trials are sick. Like those are great. Like it tells you like what's a good move, what's safe on block. They explain why it's okay to do this move. Like all that stuff is great. It's just knowing when to utilize that stuff and the trial and error of learning how those things work is
Hmm.
the painful process. But still, Street Fighter 6 good game. I
Okay.
just need them to like put out more content.
Um, we're we're getting a little bit long, so we want to try to rapid fire these last few things. I'll rapid fire this one. Starfield. Um, full disclosure, not a RPG guy like at all. Um, except for like strategy RPGs, which I'll talk about in a second. Well, I'll talk about later. Um, but Starfield was pretty cool. I guess if you were to boil it down, yes, it's kind of just like Skyrim or Fallout in space. Um, it's very much Bethesda charm, so it's kind of like characters are stilted, encumbrance, um, but it's
God,
cool.
I hate that word so much.
Yeah, the encumbrance is annoying in this game, um, but it is cool just exploring the world. The actual character dialogue and interactions are really great, and it's just like the I'm playing it in my den with like surround sound and stuff. It is phenomenal. Like sound wise, the sound design in this game is so great. The soundtrack is wonderful. It's very atmospheric, very like cinematic. So like when these big impactful moments happen, like you really feel it within the context of the grand scope of the game. I love the gunplay. The gunplay feels really good. So yeah, it does feel very similar to Fallout in terms of that element. I do like the characters that you meet, their personalities. Yeah, I'm not a big RPG fan, so I think I put like 20ish to 30ish hours on Starfield. Nowhere near like completing anything, and half that time was just doing side missions where I was just roaming around because like it's so much like you would have a conversation with a character and then like a little dialogue pops up like, oh, this side mission is now available, or you can be in a proximity of like NPCs talking and they may mention something and then like a little like activity thing will pop up to for you to do. But yeah, Starfield, I had fun with it. I think a lot of people's criticisms of it was like they were waiting for it to be the next best thing, next big thing, and it wasn't. It was just a really enjoyable game.
But there's a commentary on that too, with like people expecting Bethesda to make this larger than Skyrim game, space
Mm-hmm.
Skyrim game, and it wasn't. And so people forgot that Bethesda has been lazy for years, and you've been playing the same game for decades now, just in a different skin. What did you expect? They have their formula, they've been using it, and this time it didn't land too well with some people. So
Again, I enjoyed it.
I was never interested to begin with. It was just kind of like, I was always kind
Um,
of wary of it.
anyone you want to go through quickly, D?
Okay.
Oh God.
um, Sleeper hit. Risk of Rain returns on everything. If nobody's ever played Risk of Rain, it's a roguelike 2D platformer where you just try to reach the end of the game, basically.
Risk of rain good. Risk of rain
Um,
good.
the original Risk of Rain, I put like 10 hours in, but I didn't know what I had back then. I just had like a little indie game. It was like $2-3 when original Risk of Rain came out. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is like sort of distraction between classes. And I was like, fuck man. And then they had Risk of Rain 2, which I play a lot more of now recently. I have it on Steam and PlayStation, and I have at least 10 hours on the PC version, about 30 hours in the PlayStation version. With like, I've beaten the game with a character maybe 3 or 4 times across both platforms, so about 8 times. Fun game. But Risk of Rain Returns is basically a remaster or a remake of the original Risk of Rain. New assets, new sprite work, fantastic. Oh my god, it looks so good. And the controls are a little different. They've tightened the controls up, or you can revert it back to the original controls, how it turns and stuff when you're shooting at enemies. But a lot of the chaos and the fun of like getting all these random pickups as you go around killing enemies, that's the hook. Like you just want to know how overpowered can you get by the end of the game or by the end of your run. Like your goal is to just be as obnoxiously one-shotty burst damage as you can get by the end of your run. And if you don't do a certain amount of damage, you don't, you know, meet a certain amount of DPS, then it gets, the longer you stay in a run, the harder the game gets. And so enemies get more tankier, they do more damage and stuff. And if you don't, you know, you have a DPS check by the amount of time you spend in the game, and if you're not, you know, doing enough damage, you will die. It's a hard game, and it's a very fun game. PlayStation stuff, like exclusively. Liza P is a dream come true as a Souls fan. Jesus Christ. Liza
I heard
P
that it's hard as hell.
But it's not though. Or at least I haven't struggled against anything like profusely yet.
Yeah, I've heard like it's
10 hours in.
Baby's first Souls like.
Like it is very accessible. Like it is.
I've heard that shit was like a night. I heard that it becomes like a nightmare. Like,
I mean, it might. I mean, I still might be in the baby mode. I don't know. I don't know what to expect at this game, and that's what I like. I don't know what to expect. I've already had a pretty interesting WTF moment where I did not expect a boss character to look the way it did, but I was very pleasantly surprised with the way it did in glorious like Souls fashion. It is Bloodborne, but in with the story of Pinocchio, and a dark original, like the original dark story of Pinocchio, but set in a video game in the style of Bloodborne.
I love me some Souls, so maybe I'll pick it up once I finally fucking beat Elden Ring.
It's on Game Pass.
Don't feel bad. I haven't beaten Elden Ring yet, technically.
Well, I don't know if it's on PC Game Pass, but it's definitely on console Game Pass.
Oh, well, see, there you go. Let's smile.
I'll do this one real quick. 2 for 1 deal.
And then I'll do my last two.
Okay. Sonic Superstars.
Yeah, tell me about it, please.
I did not like this game.
He's gonna look dead at you in the camera too.
Yeah, I did not like.
I do not like this game.
And I paid $70 freedom for it too, boy.
70.
I bought the deluxe version. version.
Oh, you gave him all those Eagle Bucks?
All them Eagle Bucks. And boy, I haven't been this disappointed in a Sonic game in a while. It's Sonic Superstars is aggressively
more disappointed than Sonic Forces?
See, Forces, I came in knowing it was going to be a bad game. So it was just like, haha, cool. It's funny. It's funny because it's bad. You know,
that wasn't funny to me. I was mad.
The story is stupid. Sonic's like in prison or something. Like everybody's like
in prison.
Like OC. You know, you get to play for OC. Sonic Superstars.
I was actually looking forward to
Sonic
it.
Superstars is just so incredibly middle of the road. It's boring. It is such a boring game, and I shouldn't say that for a Sonic game. So first concern, It's not traditional 2D, so it's not sprite based like Mania. It's like this, you know,
It's that
two
pseudo 2D.
yes, 2D in terms of playstyle, but 3D graphics. Um, the
Hmm.
physics feels off. It doesn't feel like Sonic Mania. It doesn't. It doesn't feel as bad as Sonic 4, but it's like a weird in between. So it doesn't quite feel like the classic games, but it doesn't feel like Generations 2D either. It just the game feels weird. Um, I find a lot of the themes don't work, or like if they do work, you get like the sometimes the levels get oversaturated. So like there's this one theme in one of the levels where Sonic, Sonic or whatever character you are, gets super tiny, and then you go through all these tiny sections in the level. But then you do that for like 3 minutes straight, and it's like, all right, this gimmick has run its course, you know.
Mm.
And it's just like the level design is not
And we did like
particularly
DeYante, have you
great.
seen the show Black
Um,
Cake? And I
and
didn't
then it gets
realize
to the
that I'll
point
be
where you're like, I just want to get through the stage. I'm not having fun. I just want to get through this. I just want to finish it.
Bro, that's like Crazy
so
Gadget in
Black
Sonic
Cake. It's
Adventure
on
2.
the
And it's
Yes,
like
yes,
Metropolis Zone in Sonic 2.
yeah.
You just want to get
Man,
through it.
yes,
And you
I see
can't.
that.
But but when you have like several stages back to back where you're just like, I just got to get through this. I just got to
I
get
just,
through it.
oh yeah. See, that's not a game. You're not enjoying the game. You're enduring the game.
And then
Yeah,
like
because $70
And then like one of the other mechanics that they put in there is like the use of the Chaos Emeralds, which makes sense. They're these magical, mythical, gemstones. They should give you some type of powers. But what happens is like you get the powers and you kind of just forget about them because they're not required or they don't help that much. And the fact that you kind of have to stop and use them, so just like it breaks up the momentum of constantly like going. So they're kind of cool that they're there, but then a lot of times you just don't use them. Um,
Damn.
so I've yet to beat the game because it's just like I can only
You didn't
tolerate
want to.
I can only tolerate a game for like an hour before I'm like, all right, I'm done with this.
Oh
So
no,
I
bro.
hear from your little
I know I'm close to
oh
I
the
was
end.
hoping it was gonna be good.
Uh, Now the 2 for 2 instead of Sonic Superstars, the Sonic game that actually like really surprised me and I had a lot of fun with is Sonic Dream Team, which is exclusively on the Apple Arcade platform.
I was about to
Holy
ask, what
shit.
the fuck is Sonic Dream Team?
Um,
Did I miss something happen somewhere? You're like, what?
so it's a
This sounds made
Apple.
up.
It's an Apple exclusive. And the Dream Team aspect comes from you can play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Rouge, Amy, and Cream, and it's actually really cool. It's kind of like they're open-ish level or zones, and you kind of do like a lot of little objectives in there. My gripe about it is that all characters feel like Sonic, so it's weird having Tails do a homing attack or Knuckles doing a homing attack.
That's
Well,
in the flying or gliding.
but they can do that too. Like Tails can glide too, but he can do a homing attack as well. It's weird. Um, but like it's very colorful stages, kind
Well,
of
I
well
didn't get my
designed.
money from
Sonic feels good in this
it was
like 3D
very, it
environment.
was
Um,
a real hard day for
and like
me. But at
each
the same time, I
stage
created
kind of
my
just has
people laundry.
um
And I didn't even cry about the
these little
situation. I literally
objectives that
just like,
they
you know
can
what?
do. Each stage has these
This
little
literally
objectives that
just
they can do. You get to explore the world, and they have these like little cutscenes interspersed, and
and
the
that
game
felt
looks
good.
good for like Apple Arcade. It looks really good. I'm playing on my iPad Pro, so the M1 iPad Pro, so pretty decent computing power behind that, but it looks great, it feels great, and I had a significantly better time playing Sonic Dream Team compared to
Awesome.
um, Sonic
Full
Superstars.
price Sonic game.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, Deontay, we'll go to you, and then I just have one more, then we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
All right,
Okay.
that's my little wrap up. Back to Risk of Rain Return. I forgot to mention. It's a really big not caveat, but awesome thing. It has seemed like great online multiplayer. By the way, like co-op. Like you just jump in with your friends and play that jump, and like make it even more chaotic. It's like dope. Anyway, um, my three big games. I've already talked about it enough, like in a previous video. Final Fantasy 16, awesome. My game of the year, easily, hands down. Been waiting for it for like forever. I'm glad it came out. I did not play the DLC yet, and I cannot wait for the expansion with Leviathan. I cannot wait. Um, can't have a list like this without talking about Baldur's Gate. I haven't even
Mm.
beaten like the first act. I probably will take my time getting there to finishing the first act. I'm just glad that this kind of game exists for me to be able to go ahead and experience it because it is such a task of a game and it is such a big game and it is a very free game to a degree. And I want to be able to experience it with whomever I get to experience it with because it is also very easily co-op based too, where you can play with friends, up to 4 friends.
Mhm.
But it's Baldur's Gate 3. It's a legendary game, and
It is.
yeah, I'm glad I get to be part of it. Sleeper
Yeah,
game for
damn.
me, but I'm glad that came out. Star Ocean R Second Story, which is basically a complete remake of the original Star Ocean JRPG on a PlayStation 1. Um, when I say a complete remake, I mean it's basically what happened with those 2.5D pixel remasters that's been going on with the Final Fantasy games
Mm-hmm.
and the Live Alive remake as well, which I'm still playing and is also an amazing game as well. Um Star Ocean is like almost on a different level with all that. Like I've played a little bit of Octopath Traveler 1. I haven't played 2 and like that whole pixel art style thing and like the 2D sprite HD pixel sprite stuff. It looks so sick on Star Ocean. Like I'm not even kidding. Like it looks really great and like the complete overhaul of like the 3D spaces while all the characters and the monsters are like pixel like their original pixel art or maybe they might be cleaned up a little bit from the original pixel art but that pixel art on top of this very nice pristine looking map design and architecture and everything sick. And the game is very addictive too because you have so many different things to do. Like you have to worry about like making your own, well, not making your own weapons, but like smithing your own weapons, and like each character has specialties that they're really good at. So like you can have specific characters that are really good at cooking, and you can cook food to like prepare for battles, and then like you can have certain characters work together to like make music, and they make the music that they compose, and when they after they compose the music they can play the music, and that music can be used as a buff before a fight.
Mm.
Like that's kind of sick. There's a mechanic where your party members are walking around you. You know how like if there's like random, it's not random encounters, so you can see the enemies on the map, and they have a thing where it's a bodyguard mode where you can have it where your party members are around you, and they can just go to the random little weaker enemies that are around, and they can kill them instantly without you having to go into an actual battle to kind of get the monotonous grind out of the way. My God, I want more games to do that. Jesus Christ. It's like a time saver. And it's just kind of cathartic to just see watch like one of your little characters just go chick, 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 and just kill them off. And like you can make the game more difficult for yourself too. Like you can have it where you can increase the enemy encounter rate, but kind of power level up. But the enemies are still kind of like at level, so they still can hit you pretty hard. And you can. It's not a mindless like RPG either. It's not turn based. It's action based. And so you still got to kind of pay attention and know what you're doing. But I've had fun with it so far. I'm like 20 hours in and having a ball. Still more game to go. Same with Flies of P. Still got a lot of game to go.
And Baldur's Gate.
I'm done.
Mm.
Yes.
Max, you gonna say something?
Oh, I was just talking more about Baldur's Gate, man. But I don't know if any of y'all have seen the old Baldur's Gate games 1 and 2.
Oh yeah. Icewind
Yeah,
Dale.
yes, bro. Yes, oh my God, all those games were fucking good as hell. And me and my brother, me and Trey had we played the first two games, and man, those games were just so much fun. But three is so night and day different from the first two games. It's crazy. The first two were very much not Dungeons and Dragons type format. They were very much more of a typical RPG type format. But the games were still good regardless. And I'm so glad that they did this approach with Baldur's Gate 3. It's just so much more of a fleshed out game.
Well, actually, 1 and 2 are the reasons why we have the terminology kind of sort of for Western RPGs or CRPGs because of that style, like that isometric, like original Fallout style where you had to like press, you had to pause the game and then pick where to move, and then you had to pick the action, and then after you pick the action, then you got to pick where the action is going to and who's doing it, and then
Yeah.
it is very complex and very cumbersome to do it. Now you just click a button and they do the thing, but it is a night and day difference from like them working years and years and years and years and years and like going out on a whim and saying, I really hope this is successful. Little did they know that a lot of people been waiting for this game for,
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong
and it paid
game. I'm
off
probably
great.
thinking. Yeah, I think I'm thinking of the wrong game. Damn. Okay, never mind.
Even the game was so popular that there's this other game by Obsidian, I think it's Obsidian, called Pillars of Eternity, and they just recently they just randomly recently upgraded their game, or not upgraded, but they like did a patch on their game because they had been playing Baldur's Gate 3 and they wanted to make some like adjustment tweaks to like some
Oh
of the
wow.
stuff in their coding and stats in their game because the games are Pillars of Eternity is very closely similar to the original
Yeah, I'm thinking of the wrong game.
Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Actually almost verbatim. Like Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, well, Pillars of Eternity and Pillars of Eternity Deadfire are basically Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 from back in the day. So I found that kind of interesting.
All right, so I'm gonna wrap up with my final selection. Um, kind of cheating because I played it starting this year, 2024, but it is a 2023 game. Fire Emblem Engage. Um, not too super far into it yet, but I've already racked up like 13 hours into it. That is my addiction. Uh, Fire Emblem or strategy RPGs. It started with like Shining Force on the Genesis. Then I got into Awakening. But the basic new mechanic for this is the engage system, in which they take a classic Fire Emblem Lord, like Marth or Lucina or what Heck. I don't think Hector's in this game, but they'll take like a classic Lord. You engage with them with your current, with your character with the ring system or whatever, and you gain that Lord's powers to use in the map, and you kind of make your character broken, but don't think that makes the game easy because this game is hard. This game is freaking hard. Like I came into the series of Awakening, and I was one of those people who were like, all right, I'm gonna save scum. If a character I like dies, I'm gonna restart this whole map and do it all over again. And and with Three Houses, I love Three Houses. But Three Houses was very generous with that little, rewind system, and you can,
Mm-hmm.
go back and kind of fix your mistakes that you did. They,
Turn specific too.
yeah, turn specific. They had that in here, but you get it a few chapters in, and when it happens, like I realize sometimes, oh, I've made a critical mistake. I've rewinded like 2 or 3 turns, and I'm still getting bodied. like, and like in Three Houses, your player character, the teacher, there would be.
Mm.
It was kind of
You get
hard
a
for him.
bunch.
It was kind of hard for your player avatar character to get bodied. And Engage, I get bodied like all the time. Like the main character is kind of squishy. So even with that Engage system, you're not foolproof. You still have to plan ahead into what you're doing in terms of strategy, what units you're moving where, and then a lot of the when you engage, they get special abilities that completely changes up the game. So like one person's engage ability allows them to teleport to another part of the map and still attack at the same time. Uh,
Busted.
and one engage ability allows you to completely heal everybody, all of your allies on the map, but it reduces your HP down to one. So it's still a push, give and pull for certain things. Graphically is really great, especially like since the Switch is looking stupid old. Engage looks great graphically. Um, I'm having a ball with the characters, learning the characters. So far, Etty is one of my favorites. Her and ah, the girl you get who's a thief. I forgot her name. Um,
On
no. Anna's actually like a backseller in this game. Um, God, I can't remember her name. But she's so out of place because she's like this super, like energetic and like yay, but she's like a thief. uh, but she's great. Yukana or something like that. But yeah, I'm having a blast with Fire Emblem Engage. Probably easily put another like 80 to 90 hours like I did on a playthrough of Fire Emblem Three Houses. And some of the things that they took from Three Houses are in here. So instead of the monastery, they had the Somnial, which kind of serves the same purpose. Not as big because the monastery was freaking huge in
and
Three Houses.
real and annoying to navigate.
Yeah, it was huge for unnecessary purposes. The Somnial is just you and your characters. That's your party. So it's not a bunch of random NPCs, but you can still talk to them. And another good thing about this game, when you talk to your characters in your party, you get these thing called bond fragments, which you can actually use. So yes, it's just color dialogue just to get to know the character more, but you actually get something out of it. But yeah, so we're getting close to the 2 hour mark, so I want to go ahead and wrap this up.
Really?
Yes, and unlike some of you all, I got work tomorrow, so
Work too. What you talking about?
you got a 2 hour delay. I don't want to hear it.
I still gotta deal with the kids.
You got a 2 hour
Still
delay.
going.
I don't want to hear any of that.
Armor Core.
Oh yeah, you didn't talk about Armor Core.
I didn't because I keep forgetting about it, like a redheaded.
I keep
stepchild.
forgetting
and
that
it's
I'm muted
and
and I
it's
keep talking and I'm talking to nothing.
no. I'm sorry. Did you want to say what you were going to say?
No, I was just saying, I was just talking shit. I was just talking shit because I get to go and I get to not go to work tomorrow.
Ugh. Go ahead, D. Armor Core.
Armor Core is great. It's just really hard, and I still haven't gotten past the damn robot boss that is the problem. And anybody who has played the game or has seen clips of the game know exactly what boss I am talking
I'm
about.
gonna play it one day. One day I
It
will
is,
play it.
but the game is purdy. It is very purdy. The controls are not horrendous like they used to be back in the day. Because apparently, back in the day, when you was playing on PlayStation 1 controller, let me tell you, they would tell you you would have to turn using the L2 and R2 buttons, and
Oh yikes!
the back buttons was your like you're looking up and down. It was a grand old time. And like some of the face buttons didn't do what you think they would do normally, and some of the D-pad buttons didn't do what you thought they would do normally. And so, you just had. I'm glad that the game is modernized now, and we live in an age where Armor Core can potentially get a resurgence and become popular again, so we can get more of them. Because this game was still is definitely a treat. I really like the customizable armor mech thing, and I'm not even really super duper into mechs, but this is a very very um entertaining game where I can look past that and see all the cool action. Um, but it takes a little getting used to. But I do look forward to playing more of it. It is definitely a sleeper hit of 2023 that nobody should look past, especially if you like FromSoft's games. It is not like any other FromSoft games, so do not go into this game thinking that you're about to play Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Sekiro. It is nothing like any of that. Kingsfield. That would be
Kingsfield,
hilarious.
boy, that's a
If
deep cut.
if they brought back Kingsfield, that would be unreal, and I bet you it'd be unreasonably difficult for no reason.
Modernize Kingfield, bring that shit back. Hell yeah, I'd be playing that like a motherfucker.
And dying too.
I would
2023 was a
has
very
to-
good game for years. Jesus Christ, it was a
Good game
game
for
amazing.
years.
It's
Oh my
a good
God,
game for
Resident Evil
years,
4
baby.
Excuse me. Resident Evil 4. Holy shit, dude. I'm still playing it. I've been the one that's been playing the games this year. It's been a great year for games. I've played
Yeah,
majority of the hits. But
just
Resident Evil 4 is sick.
yeah. I would love to
I'm not
play
gonna say
more
anything
games.
else.
It's just grad school. Gotta love grad school.
Right, I need to become more busy like y'all.
Yeah. I told you how busy I was.
You're too busy.
And I'm busier this semester.
DeYante, you're too busy getting abused by children.
You know
That's
what?
an accurate description though.
I'm going to bed.
All right, y'all. I guess we're gonna call it.
I'm going to bed.
So, thank you for watching this South Tips podcast. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Later.
Abused by kids.